Greetings and salutations, this is Jason Silverain, and today I'll be taking a look at Dragonia. Now, I apologise for just dropping straight into the bullet hell action. I was wanting to start in the menus, but frankly I could not find a section in the game that was actually safe for work. So I couldn't really record it without breaking YouTube's rules. So I'm sort of stuck just in the core gameplay. Now, Dragonia is created by Sakura Games and ROI Inc. It's similar to Hellgirls, that it's very obviously fan service based, but where Hellgirls was incredibly tame, this just goes completely the other way. Put it this way, even with the censorship patch, it hides nothing. It really hides nothing, and plot-wise, it's really laughable. Frankly, the artwork is really nice. Some of the music's really good. Unfortunately, a lot of this game contains very short sound bites, which loop very quickly, as you can already tell. I mean, I was initially going to do this intro on the menu, but after 3 attempts to sort of start, and no options to reduce the volume, I couldn't deal with it. It was just awful. Seriously, it was a 3-second loop. It was driving me up the wall. But plot-wise, Dragonia, it's an excuse plot. Let's be honest. It starts off telling you about how these dragons that were stronger and smarter and more powerful than humans, and humans envied them for their long life. Or at least that's the gist I got. Unfortunately, the English is strong in this game. It's done really badly. It's naturally in Chinese, and I thought Sakura Games did a really good job on the translation for Hellgirls. And this game, I don't know what they used. I don't think they used Google Translate. I want to say Google Transplant, man, because it was borderline nonsensical. It was absolutely awful, and that'll actually come into play a bit more later. But yes, humans with powerful magics managed to banish the dragons away into an area of the world which can't be entered, thus making an illusionary land. A term I've come across in quite a few Japanese games and Chinese games. It just seems to be a very Eastern thing of an idea where a section of the world just cut away from the rest of it. But yes, within this illusionary land, the dragons actually fared really, really well. Without the humans trying to murder them, they thrived. They've even got some magic tree that gives them immortality, but fruits every 1,000 years. So, you know, that seems to be very well taken care of. Unfortunately, this evil force seems to be taking over several of the dragons, and this is where things get a little screwy. The dragons seem to have a sort of dragon-human hybrid shape, and the sort of westernized dragon appearance, it doesn't really explain how they can flick from one to the other. But yeah, this is where the excuse plot sort of really comes into play, and all pretenses of this being actually anything more than essentially a adult game are dropped. As these evil dragons gather and start taking over more and more of the little illusionary land that's and head towards this tree for whatever nefarious reason, the current king of the dragons summons this witch who is topless in every cutscene. She pretty much says, oh, to purify these what they call it, to these evil dragons, we have to use Errs, or love, and we need to find someone who's immensely pure to do that. So they pick the daughter of the white dragon lord, who is the character you're playing as. And guess what you have to do? You have to blast all these little dragons, and when you find the boss, you blast them. Once you've beaten them, you get a cutscene where initially she's very naive about the whole thing, and there's definitely some rapey undertones there, what I don't like. Which I can make out amongst the English. But she essentially has to sleep with each of the dragons. Oh, have I killed the boss? Yes, I have. So unfortunately, I am going to have to do a cut here, because I can't show this, what's going to happen next. Oh, wait, I've got the results screen, so I can go over a few basic things. But yes, she has to sleep with all the dragons, and increasingly, she becomes less pure and more corrupt by sleeping with these evil dragons, as sexuality awakens. I was not expecting this when I got the game. I honestly was not, and it's just ridiculous. But with the frankly hentai scenes in there, if you like your sort of erotic literature, you will be immensely disappointed because the writing is so bad. It's laughable. You could not get aroused from it. No one could. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd how bad it is, and I really wish I could show you just how terrible the translation is. Focusing on the actual gameplay, it's actually pretty decent. Decent idea. You have these souls which you build up over time. It doesn't matter if you fail a level because you keep your souls and you keep racking up your score. You spend these souls on hit points, actual base damage of your weapon, your different bullet hell, your bullet sprays, you know, how it shoots out of you. I wish I'd reword that differently. And also what it actually it does, such as piercing through enemies, exploding, homing, things like that. And then you get the third ability which you can buy, which, in all honesty, the only one worth taking is healing, because there's no way to actually heal yourself in these fights. But I'll go on to the next level in a moment, and I'll catch you guys then. One little nice thing I did find, however, is by hitting escape rather than bringing up the menu when you're actually in the levels, it does actually finally list what the items do. It did explain all this earlier on in the game, but it just popped up in that terrible English, and not for very long. So you can restore life, but geez, I find it must restore such a pitiful small amount that I've never noticed it. Also, they all seem to be listed wrong. That increases your weapon, that changes your weapon, and that gives you an extra person with little missiles. So it looks like there's a small bug where they've not actually listed the item list correctly. Whoops. However, that's rather handy, and we'll see what happens after the cutscene. Okay, I'm back. Now, as you can see on the screen, I have an enemy list. I need to kill 600 enemies before the boss appears, and these little tiny dragons are admittedly quite difficult to see, and you'll often find yourself running into them. The health bar is pretty easy to see, with numbers as well, which I like, because I kind of dislike games which just have the bar. I like having numbers there as well, but equally I dislike games that just have numbers if they don't have a, you know, total number as well. So some of the Final Fantasy games used to really annoy me with that. Now, as power-ups go, they break down into these Ps, which are the most useful ones, and they're rather rare. Your gun starts off at 1 star, it can max out at 5 stars, and increases, as you notice, my range is pitiful. But the more stars I get, the more range I get. Also, that's affected by the type of bullets you use. Those gems all have different effects. Blues give you extra souls, so essentially extra spending money. Green makes you invincible for a handful of seconds. You know, purple gives you a rush of speed. These ones, the little red rock ones, give you a tiny clone of yourself which shoots a homing missile. But they fade very, very quickly, which is quite frustrating. Oh. And as you can see, you move very slowly. Apart from 1 or 2 power-ups that can give you, you know, a speed boost, all the effects are a handful of seconds. I mean, my healing one, I only do this. I only really pick this ability because it doesn't only heal you, and it seems to be the only healing method in the game. It also increases your power bar, which between levels you get to keep all your upgrades, but if you've died and you only have 1 power bar, you are practically useless on the later levels. I actually had to do quite a lot of grinding earlier today just to even stand a fighting chance on this stage, and this is stage 5. The early stages are really, really easy, but by stage 4 and 5 it becomes more and more unfair. As, yes, oh god, as you can see the bullets rack up rather quickly, and every time you're struck, no matter what your health is, you lose power-ups basically. So even if you don't die straight away, it's just a constant downward spiral. You will eventually just be overpowered, and the larger dragons are simply unfair. I'm trying to see if I can summon one at the moment. You sort of got to see one briefly. They really come in two types. You get the ones that just move very quickly in jerky animation, following you, and they try and ram you. That counts as multiple hits and can kill you very, very quickly. Also, it's a bugger to dodge because they're faster than you. You just got to go in unpredictably. Oh yes, here's another power-up. Once you've unlocked certain bullet forms, you can get them as random power-ups. This can really bite you in the ass though, because to be frank, a lot of the forms are underpowered, or well, shapes, you know. Styles are just frankly underpowered and garbage, so they're not worth using. Oh yeah, and this guy who just went past, he's one of the newer ones. He just sprays bullets everywhere, and oh god, here we go. He can very quickly spoil the day, but I am very, very glad I've now actually got my basic attack high enough to deal with them. Because this game seems to have two settings. Oh god, see, the power-up's already faded. You either are completely ineffectual, or you kill things remarkably quickly. There's no real middle ground. And as arenas go, it's not great. You just get a different background. They're a giant rectangle. You can't really fly past this dark mist here, and you get different variations of enemies. As you can see, even the little dragons are now taking quite a lot to kill in comparison to what they were doing on just the, you know, stage before. Because it's all the stages are separated into like stage 5.1 and stage 5.2, or you know, a bit like the Sonic games, if anyone remembers those, the early ones, not the Sonic Adventure ones for you younger members of the audience. So I'm nearing the 600 I need, and then we'll get a big dragon coming after me. The most unfair boss I've come across so far was one that just summons walls right on top of you or in front of you, and they were practically one-hit kills. They were, multiple hits, and say I was flying, they suddenly appear there. There was no time to react or turn. I'm having to play this on the keyboard because I've not tried it with a controller yet. And I really should have checked if this has controller support, but the keyboard controls are easy enough, and it looked like something I'd rather play with a mouse, with the way it aims. I'm using the old classic WSAD to move around, and just holding L left click to shoot. So yes, I've currently got the Pierce ability, which is my favourite. Whoa, that's a big one! And I'm glad I've got the Pierce ability, because it's one of the longer range attacks. And it's just going to rip through him by doing multiple hits. But, you know, it says blue, the amount of hits I'm doing is just staying red. It's like, no, get away! See, I hate these guys. Now, you can get abilities like shockwaves, which were useless, or area blasts around you, which are so short range they're pointless. There's a move that lets you charge forward, but I haven't really unlocked that yet. Oh god, that little dragon just ramming me has done more damage to me than the boss, and they have so much health. Dead. Not much I can do, really. And this is, as I've shown you, is what I meant by you either kill them right off from the start, or you just can't do anything against them. It's really grindy. The game itself is, as I've kind of realised I've forgotten to mention, it's only about £1.59. I got this on sale, 90% off, so that was less than 50 pence, which is pretty good. And it's a relatively recent release, it's just May 2017. It's got 46 achievements and trading card get. The achievements are really easy to get because every time you purchase something, you get an achievement. You get achievements for just collecting a number of souls. You get achievements for killing a number of dragons. So if you're achievement hunting, yeah, this one's an easy one for you. Overall, there's a lot better bullet hell games out there, but if you get a voucher for this, it might be worth picking up if you don't mind the gratuitous fan service, if just to laugh at it. I do know there's a couple of people who found the English translation files in the game and are actually going through the process of actually making their own stories for it. Just because for the laugh. Just for a laugh. Or just because I don't know. I really don't know. But I think that's all I can really say on this one, because I can't show you the nicer aspects of the artwork because it's got topless women just slapped on the side. I mean, the area map's really quite nice. I'd use it for a D&D campaign, but no. Oh well, I'll catch you guys next time. I can't really say I recommend this immensely. It was worth its price, but again, it's probably not worth the embarrassment.